Welcome to the Beachwood Business Compass Podcast. This podcast is put together by the Office of Economic Development here for the City of Beachwood. I am Kathy Biederman, the Economic Development Director. The Beachwood Business Compass Podcast is an opportunity for us to bring tools, resources, insight, and unique opportunities here to businesses within the Beachwood community. Today's discussion is one that I'm looking forward to, one that hits close to home for myself as well. Joining me today is Mayor Justin Berns. I always love the discussions that we have with Mayor Berns. It's wonderful to have him here today. And our discussions oftentimes revolve around some sports dialogue that happens within our meetings. And I don't always follow all of that, but I am always eager to hear about the races that you do with Disney Run. It's incredible to see some of those races and some of the achievements that you've made within them. I love hearing about the plans that you have for the coming ones in the year. And Mayor Berns is a champion, really, when it comes to competition, not only in the race with Disney, but also here within the city of Beachwood. His history within the city of Beachwood, he's been a lifelong resident of the city, inspired by maybe some of your father's experience on city council for a number of years, and you yourself has served 30 years now for the city of Beachwood, starting out as a firefighter for the community, volunteer fireman, and then serving on planning and city council for 12 years. So his wife and him are both avid Ohio State fans, as you have 3 children now at Ohio State, so I'm sure you make it out to a number of the games there. There are really 2 things that I really value working under your leadership. One is that you are an incredible man of your word, which has been respected throughout the business community. And the other is that it really is inspirational to see how you take every job seriously within the city. I know you've oftentimes carried our large ribbon and bow to some of the grand openings, and you've also been down at the public works facilities, but also our municipal facilities, picking up items of debris that may be left around from visitors that are here within the city. So I want to welcome you to our show here today, Mayor Berns.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks so much for that very kind introduction. Let me say this. It's people like yourself and the rest of the department directors that we have that make the city and this job run so smoothly. As far as my affection for sports and being a champion, let me say this. I don't want to go on here without acknowledging you're the real champion, because you recently were the recipient of the Team NEO 2025 Economic Development Champion of the Year for this region. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was really nice to be recognized for that. But a lot of that does come from the regionalism that we do here and the continued discussions that we have on how we can support not only our businesses here within the community, but the greater good of the Northeast Ohio area. But it was a wonderful opportunity to be recognized. Thank you for mentioning.
Absolutely. You're certainly deserving.
Thank
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, I know today's discussion, we were going to talk a little bit about, some of the opportunities that are coming here within the city. And you've been mayor now going on 4 years within the city. I know I've had the pleasure of being under your leadership for a few of those years. What are some of the things that you see as challenges and opportunities? Because I know on a day-to-day basis, you're constantly faced with new items that come your way daily. And a lot of those are really ones that probably have been inspirational to you or have really changed you in some regards. I'd love to know what those are.
Certainly. Well, when I became mayor, I came out of the private sector as a real estate developer and home builder. Mm-hmm. Typically, I would use a lot of the same contractors on many of my projects, because I knew of the quality that I was getting. And it wasn't so much necessarily about the cost, but it was more about the quality of work, which is why I was being retained by various clients. In the city realm, you need to get bids to do work, mm-hmm. multiple bids. So the time that takes is a slower process. It's not a snap your finger and get things done.
It takes some time to work through all of that.
At the same time, we are extremely transparent of how we do things in the city of Beachwood. That part said, certainly in the city of Beachwood, and frankly any probably municipality, wherever it is, things can get done a lot quicker than they can at the state level or the federal level, which is why I relish the opportunity of being mayor of this fine city. We have gotten a lot accomplished in the 3.5 years thus far that I have been mayor.
Absolutely. And I look at some of the projects that have come over the last few years when you talk about, the attraction projects that have happened with companies like Millennium Corporation and Master Brands. It's really exciting to see those transpire. And those don't come easily. There's a lot of dialogue and a lot of discussion and a lot of, items that really come about when you're having those discussions with those corporations. And it's great to see your involvement in all of that.
Yeah, and certainly speaking of Millennium, they took over what was formerly part of our Public Works Department. We gave up valuable space and sold that turned into a real economic driver for the city. We wanted the right corporation to come into that space, not just somebody who was going to take up lots of warehouse space with a few jobs and tow motors. And it's certainly a lot of that credit, again, is because of your hard work on achieving that and bringing them to the city of Beachwood.
And it's those kind of projects that really you almost have to be agile to navigate through the barriers that oftentimes come up within those projects. How do you find yourself doing that?
I think it's a team approach. It's between you, our economic development director, our finance director, and city council. Of sometimes coming forward and bringing incentives to companies to come to the city of Beachwood. Something that the city didn't necessarily have to do in, let's say, 10 years ago. But Northeast Ohio has become extremely competitive. The industry has changed, and this is how we navigate getting companies like Millennium to come to Beachwood.
Yeah, and that incentive is really driven by the opportunity that it brings to the city. We're looking for companies that really align with what the vision is that the city sees. We're looking for cluster opportunities to continue to develop, and we're looking for the right opportunities to come here. And those are the ones that we're really wanting to be a strategic partner in both attracting and retaining here within the community. And being in government, one of the key components that is always driving action is the budget. And can you talk a little bit about how you really work to make sure that we're maintaining a balanced budget for the city?
Certainly. I think it's a combination of between our administration and city council. On the administration end, we are looking at wants and needs. And there is, as you indicated, there's a balance to that. Everything that the city does, we're receiving the revenue from the income tax that we're generating from people who are working in the city of Beachwood. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that the city is providing for the businesses within the city. That revenue that is coming in, we are doing road projects. We're doing projects. We recently built a playground that is open to everybody, essentially in Northeast Ohio.
A very busy playground.
It is extremely busy with lots of Beachwood residents.
Absolutely.
And people from other communities as well, and hopefully from people who work in the city who maybe don't live in the city. But it is extremely important, obviously, for everything that the city provides, that we have the business in the city to generate that revenue so that we can provide those services to our residents.
And a lot of that really does come down to the relationship that you have with City Council, because it's that unified council that really speaks highly of the ability to support these projects here within the city. And I think you've done an incredible job of bringing council, into collaborative discussions around these activities and these opportunities that are coming our way.
Yeah, and again, I'm not that far removed from being on city council. I was there 3.5 years ago, so I understand how pivotal it is for council and the mayor's office to work together. And we've got a really good rapport with one another, and I think we've moved Beachwood leaps and bounds ahead over the last 3.5 years.
Absolutely. And it takes that unity to really support business investment. Businesses that are making private investment within the community want to know that private investment is secure. And a lot of that securance is around the fact that there's a unified government that wants to support their investments and continue to see new development, new activity occur here within the community as well. So let's talk about some of those investments that have been made recently. There's been the acquisition of the Fairmont Temple property as well as the pending acquisition of Chagrin Highlands. Do you want to start by talking a little bit about Fairmont Temple?
Certainly. The Fairmont Temple property is something that came about in a very short order last year when Fairmont Temple consolidated with another religious institution in the city of Beachwood to merge into what is now Mishkan Or. When I heard about this, I had some discussions with the principals at Fairmont Temple, which inevitably led to the sale to the city of Beachwood for $8 million for the 17 acres that was Fairmont Temple. Really, at the time when we bought the property, we didn't know exactly what we were going to do with that property. It has since been determined that it is going to be a residential, senior-targeted community. We have heard from, and we did a survey, we've heard from numerous residents that what the city was really lacking is a place to transition from single-family homes in Beachwood to potentially smaller dwelling units that are on a single floor or with first floor master bedrooms. So we went through processes with an RFQ, which led to an RFP process, which we are coming to the end very soon to hopefully select a developer for that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me when I look at the companies that have been coming in, Millennium Corporation, Master Brand, those companies are bringing employees that want to locate here closer to home. With this return to work, we're seeing a lot of people want to transition back into the office and also work a little bit closer to where they live. And those opportunities aren't always available here within the city. There's a limited number of homes that are going on the housing and into the housing market. So opening up those opportunities for C-suite level leadership and then also just workforce opportunities for the workforce to continue to live here within the community is important.
Certainly. Again, if what we heard through our surveys, if current residents of Beachwood, vacate their homes, sell their homes, and move into the Fairmont Temple project, that will open up additional homes for sale to potentially people who work at Millennium or Master Brands or Hoosier or wherever they may work in the city of Beachwood.
Absolutely. And the Chagrin Highlands acquisition, that's 43 acres that will open up new development opportunities. Really, from my perspective, this site has great access off of Harvard. There's opportunity for future connectivity there, connecting it up into the Chagrin Boulevard area through Commerce Park. You're located very centrally with top corporations. You have Eaton Corporation's headquarters that's there, Ahuja Medical Center with the new Drzezinski Sports Medical Institute, and everything that's transpiring from a research and development standpoint around healthcare in the Sportsland area. And then when you look at the other synergetic companies that are within that area, Synthomer, Master Builders, Tremco, BASF, there's a number of expansions and opportunities for supply chain connectivity, I think, with this site. And our own growing industries here within the community, Beachwood's continuing to see more investment that's being made in biomed, life sciences, cybersecurity, information technology, and here within the region. Those targeted industries, I think, have a prime opportunity at this site. We talk a lot about the alignment that we want to see with Ohio's targeted industries and Northeast Ohio's opportunities. And there's a lot transforming around aerospace, a lot of discussion around what's happening with NASA today. Also, Joby Aviation and the opportunities that brings here from a technology standpoint. Meta, Google are continuing to make investments. You're seeing new opportunities that may emerge in those supply chain areas, as well as cybersecurity, IT, research and development. And I think all of those are really excellent opportunities and plays for what can transpire there based on the workforce that's surrounding the city of Beachwood and based on its proximity to other nearby corporations.
Yeah. You just named more than a dozen different corporations that are in the city of Beachwood. Initially, when I was on city council, frankly, prior to that in 2010, the city was for years looking to acquire a sliver of property through the Chagrin Highlands to construct a connector road to the Commerce Park Mercantile area. Through several administrations in the city of Cleveland and the city of Beachwood, negotiations did not lead to a sale of property for this, at the time, connector road, which is all the city was looking to construct at the time. The idea of this road would have been to alleviate traffic onto Chagrin Boulevard from the Commerce Park Mercantile area, as it's extremely congested there at rush hours and then essentially throughout the day. As time went on and as I became mayor, we had discussions with the city of Cleveland to not only acquire the sliver of property to construct this road, but to acquire the adjacent property to have some control over what companies will be off of this access road in the future. The purpose of that was to make sure, again, for our investment that we're going to put into that road, that we're getting companies that are going to contribute revenue to the city of Beachwood in a sizable matter. Again, we don't want to just build warehouses with a few people and tow motors. That doesn't bring enough revenue to the city and for the cost of the construction of this road. So there's dual purposes here. Again, when the city initially was going to build this road, it wasn't even considering the adjacent property. It was just to alleviate traffic and re-stimulate the Commerce Park Mercantile area. So I think there's a ton of opportunity here when this road gets in to not only build new businesses adjacent to this roadway, but to really reinvigorate the Commerce Park Mercantile area.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I look at that Commerce Park area, there's already inquiries coming in on a regular and consistent basis, and the availability of space is extremely limited in there now. But there's opportunity to really utilize those buildings to their full potential, which I don't think is done at this time for a lot of the larger buildings. And that interconnectivity of the roadway really will open up some opportunities not only for that, but also for some of our existing companies that really need room for expansion to be able to now expand and stay here within the city of Beachwood, which I think we'll see more of that coming in the future.
Yeah, certainly. I think I was telling you previously, I was at a mayors and managers meeting where the Team NEO president, Matt Dolan, attended, and he talked about the lack of 30-acre plus sites in Northeast Ohio. I sat there with a smile on my face when he was saying this, knowing that Beachwood is one of the few communities in Northeast Ohio that now possesses one of these 30-acre plus sites.
Absolutely. And when you look at the opportunity to bring a site together like this that has that workforce talent surrounding it, you have easy access, you have the utilities already there at the site, you have really land that's available that can be easily located in close proximity to other corporations and companies like I mentioned, it really puts us on the spot for being an A+ site here within the Northeast Ohio area.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other things that you see as opportunities about things that are unique that might be coming? What are you looking forward to in the next year?
Well, here, one of the things that we have been anticipating for a number of years is the possibility of the Chagrin-Richmond 271 corridor project that we've been working with ODOT for numerous years on. This is a long-anticipated project. It's going to be a long, drawn-out project. It's going to be rather expensive, but I think that it will, again, reinvigorate the entire area. There are numerous people who frequent that area every day who want to get to work or get to their appointments or go wherever they're going in that area. But the traffic congestion through that area is staggering. The unfortunate number of motor vehicle accidents in that area is unfortunately rather large, and the state realizes that they need to do something to help that area to make it a safer corridor for passage. So between moving traffic along and reducing motor vehicle accidents, that is something that I am really looking forward to. It will be a little painful when it's going on, but the long-term reward for that that investment
absolutely.
will be very good for the city of Beachwood. And frankly, for the surrounding communities as well. We've gotten the support from every neighboring community for that project to happen.
Yeah, and you know, we're unique in that we have 3 exits off of the freeway, and that is predominantly the number one exit that people come off of and traffic flows through. So having that opened up and really having the ease of access for traffic there means a lot to those businesses on the Chagrin Boulevard area. I know I hear frequently when I'm meeting with business owners down there that they're really looking forward to that project transpiring.
Certainly. And again, adjacent to that, we have the former Porsche location, which we're looking forward to a redevelopment of that site. We have the Doubletree property off of Park East that we're looking forward to something happening there soon. So again, the Chagrin Boulevard corridor is extremely important to not just Beachwood, but the entire Northeast Ohio community.
And it would be wonderful to even have that segue of the new roadway connection from Harvard up into Chagrin to alleviate that traffic. So hopefully we can continue to push that forward and maybe even see that transpire right about the same timing.
As I always say, timing is everything. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Well, Mayor, I greatly appreciate you being here today for this discussion. It was wonderful to have the opportunity to sit down with you and talk a little bit more about our economic development initiatives. And I commend you always for looking strategically and creatively at how we can move forward some of these site opportunities here within the city of Beachwood. When I speak with business owners that are working with you during these projects, they always say to me how much they appreciate everything that you do for the city. You go above and beyond to really support their business initiatives here within the community. So I commend you on your efforts to continue that dialogue with our local business owners. Thank you. And thank you for listening today to the Beachwood Business Compass, Beachwood's ultra community-focused business support tailored to your growing business needs. I'd love for you to stay tuned for our next discussion with on commercial real estate development opportunities within Beachwood with Bryce Sylvester, Managing Director of Cresco Real Estate.